have been missing in action for a while, haven't I? I'm sorry about that. I really am. As I explained in the rainy day video, I've been unwell. I got the flu. I took a COVID test. It wasn't that. That came back negative. But we are still allowed to get colds and flu, aren't we? What I got was the proper flu. If ever you've had the flu yourself, you'll know that it's not something you get over in a couple of days. That, you know, after the initial feelings of poorliness, it can actually take days and weeks to get the energy back again. And so just this last few days, I've felt a bit more like myself. The kids have been looking after me fine. I've got everything I need here, and I've been drinking plenty of water. Still am drinking plenty of fluids and getting plenty of rest. I'm still having a nap in the afternoons, but I am all right. I'm definitely on the mend. And I want to thank you very, very much for all the lovely wishes and well wishes and support that you've been giving me on all the platforms that I occupy here on the internet. Everyone has been sending me lovely wishes, and it's been fantastic. Thank you so much for all of that. Mostly back to my usual self, just tired still, and bizarrely I appear to have lost the hearing in this ear temporarily, which is if you ever suffer from hearing loss yourself, or you know what I mean, it kind of makes you a little bit disorientated, and so for me, I can't work out which direction sounds are coming from. So there'll be a cat meowing over here, but actually she's over here. That's a bit weird. But I've been in touch with the GP about that, and we've talked about how I've been these last few weeks, and so I've got some good advice from my GP there. So don't worry about me, I'm all right. I've had my hair cut. I had a hair appointment that I was really unwilling to cancel. So I got in touch with my lovely, lovely hairdresser and told her what the situation was and how she felt about me coming to get my hair cut. And she said she was fine with that. So she wore a visor, I wore a mask. We were in complete silence so that there was no chance of droplet transfer. That's a thing now that I've been talking about for a while. And then when she'd finished, it looked like this, and I'm very pleased. I'm sorry for all the people who liked it longer. I don't like it long at all, and so this is how I feel much happier with it like this. So, but I wanted to get back to you because I've been all the while that I've been having this downtime, I've been stitching and doing bits and pieces. I haven't been confined to bed or anything like that, and so I've been working on this a fair bit, which is Agnes's quilt for when she comes to stay with Grandma in a few years' time. I've talked about this one before, but I want to talk about it again because today what I want to talk about exclusively today is everything I can think of to do with English paper piecing. Because when I was talking about this quilt on the channel a while ago, I got a lot of questions from people. So I thought that today might be a good time to answer some of those. And also I've got a shop product that's going to go in the shop, I think, on Saturday. I can't work it out. Rita and I do that together, girl Rita. And that's all to do with English paper piecing as well. But I'll make a different video about that a bit nearer the time. So English paper piecing then. I have on the channel in the past, I've talked about it many times. We've made this together, which is the English paper pieced dog that you can make in lots of different sizes depending on how big or small you make the square. This is not my pattern, it's a pattern I found years ago, and we made it on the channel. I'll put it in the playlist. Oh, year and a half ago maybe. Quite a lot of people made them, and so that's all English paper pieced. This chair now, I painted a couple of these chairs. These are just IKEA kit chairs, and I painted two of these again a couple of years back, and then made this camera down a bit more so you can see. This is an English paper pieced thing for the back. Which I really like this chair. It's got a cushion as well. Now, I didn't need to English paper piece that. I could have machined it really easily, but I didn't. I did it all by hand. I was on a bit of a roll by then. And it's a fabric line from Philip Jacobs called Snow Leopard. Just absolutely beautiful. Oh. So this is funny because Norma's actually asleep on one of the pieces I want to show you, so I won't disturb her. But this is Cat Rita. All the cats are well. She was at the vet's a couple of months ago. She's fine now. Prudence, who was at the vet also 6 weeks or so ago, she's fine too. Everyone's fine. Everyone's fine. You're fine, aren't you, Rita? Yes, you are. Anyway, English paper piecing. There's a few things I want to just talk about. I thought I'd do a big chat about the whole thing. And then bizarrely this morning, I was watching on YouTube. The Missouri Star Quilt Company did a live stream this morning, which is, it's all to promote their the magazine that they put out once every second month called Block. Which has got lots of quilt patterns in it, and I don't subscribe to it, but I think it's probably a lovely thing. Anyway, they were talking about the quilts that are coming up in the next month's block, which is going to be for August. But they had a section talking about English paper piecing. I thought, oh, that's funny, because I'm going to make this video today to share with you guys. And so that was really quite interesting. But one of the things that Jenny said, it was Jenny and her daughter, whose name I can't remember, sadly. But anyway, the two of them were chatting away. And they were talking about how, because when I do English paper piecing, and I'm going to show you some more bits in a minute. So I'll take my paper template, I'll take a piece of fabric that's just a bit bigger than it, like that. And then I baste it on with a thread I can see, and I stitch it on. Now, Jenny was very scathing about this technique, and she was saying that it was so outmoded and so out of date because you could stick it now with a glue stick. And of course you can, and that's absolutely fine if that's what you want to do. I find this just as quick. In fact, I'd challenge somebody to a duel. I'd thread stitch and they could glue stick. Yeah. And I think I'd probably be as quick or quicker, because I'm pretty fast at this now. This is the way my mum taught me how to do this. And it works fine. It's not flawed, seriously. And the papers come out at the end. That'll be fun when we take the papers out of this one. I'll do that on the channel. Might be a while though, because this quilt of Agnes's here, that's the size of it at the moment. What I love about it is it looks like watercolour, doesn't it? And I did a grayscale picture of it, and the distribution is really lovely. And so I'm going to make it a single bed-sized quilt with a border, but I haven't decided how big it's going to be yet. It's just something I love stitching, so I'm just going to carry on doing that. But yeah, Jenny, she was having a go at the people who tack their pieces on like I do. But I'm not going to stop doing it that way because it works fine for me. Okay, so the important thing to get right when you're English paper piecing like this is the size of the hexagon. This needs to be very, very accurate. This is an inch size, and so when you're stitching these two together, like so, and then the next one comes in, they fit beautifully. And so really, preparation is everything when it comes to English paper piecing. Now, quite a number of people asked me about the Sizzix machine that I use to make the templates and to make the I have a template for cutting out the fabric. You don't need to have that. You know, once you've got this, you can cut your fabric to fit with scissors easily. But I do have a template that cuts that size so that I can do that. So I thought I would show you my Sizzix machine is right here. So I'm going to angle you down a little. Just move that dog out of the way. And somebody was saying to me, quite a number of people, where did you get your Sizzix machine from? Well, I bought this one from a quilt show at Harrogate, the knitting and stitching show. No, that's a different one. No, that's Harrogate. I'll start that again. I'll have another run in on that one. I'm still very tired. Quite a lot of people have asked me where I got my Sizzix machine from. I got it from a trade show. I got it from the Festival of Quilts at the NEC in Birmingham about 5 years ago. I went to that festival about 3 or 4 years running. In fact, I'm going to talk about this in a minute. This was actually in an exhibition there, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Which is great. It was really nice to see it there hanging amongst all the other quilts. Sizzix. So the Sizzix people, I'm not sponsored by Sizzix at all. I'm not sponsored by anybody to do these videos, but Sizzix had a stand there at the trade show. They had their big stall there demonstrating all their different machines and all their dyes and different things. And I looked at it for the longest time. Whenever I used to go to the quilt show at Harrogate, I would always go for 2 days and stay overnight in a hotel, the Holiday Inn. In fact, bizarrely, I'll tell you this. I went 1 year and booked into the Holiday Inn, room 216. Second year I went back, booked into the Holiday Inn, room 216. I mean, what are the chances? It's my room now. Anyway, I would go so that I could spend the whole of the first day. Probably I did take my purse, but I didn't get my purse out, so that I could just look and just imbibe the whole thing. And I would go the second day and go back and visit the places that had sparked my interest, and maybe buy some of the things. That was where I found the suppliers of the wadding that I use, Doughty's. I'm not sponsored by them either. This video is not sponsored by anyone. Should be, but it isn't. Anyway, Sizzix. So they had a stand there and I was watching them demonstrate their various products. These die cuts here that have got the Hexagon template on for you to cut the very accurate paper template. This, the way that hexagons are measured, they're measured by the size of the side. So this is an inch hexagon because that's an inch across there. So it's not how wide it is here, because actually that's 2 inches across, but it's the size of the side that they measure. So I bought the inch hexagon template die cutter, and I bought, let's just measure this one. I think this one's, is this 2 inches? Excuse me while I just measure this one. No, this one's 1.5 inches. It looks bigger than you think, but this one's the 1.5 inch one, and this one cuts the fabric. Or you could cut paper templates and make things bigger. Obviously, you could do that. So I'm going to get the Sizzix machine going now, and I'm going to show you just how easy it is. Because what I love about it is there's no working mechanical parts on it, so nothing's going to break on this. It's a very, very simple piece of equipment. So I'll angle you down and we'll cut some papers with the inch block here. Here we go. There we go. Can you see that all right? Yeah, that's good there, isn't it? Now the paper that I use for this when I'm cutting my templates, at the moment as you know, I'm sorting through a lot of my things and throwing a lot of possessions away, and I'm using old books. This is actually a magazine I used to subscribe to, but it's got lovely thick paper. So you don't want copy paper. No, that wouldn't work. You want something that's going to hold its own. and I'm going to fold this into 4, because this could easily take 4, 6, 8 thicknesses through quite easily. But 4's fine for this demonstration. There are 2 pieces of perspex here, and you put the die in the gap there, and then when you lay the paper on, just make sure that it's covering all the edges, so there isn't one little bit sticking out. So they're all covered beautifully. Put the second piece of perspex on top without moving the bottom piece there. I didn't move that. And then we're going to simply roll this through. Like that. This is called the Sizzix Big Shot. Always makes me laugh. And then inside here, what you've got is a set of very accurate inch templates. That's the important part, the accuracy of them. Okay. Now, you can just now go ahead and cut your fabric the size you want it. But whenever I'm working on anything and I've got a little bit of fabric that I think would suit this this quilt here, which is an ongoing project, everything I need for it is in this box here. So I'll sling those in so that when I want them, and these have got finished hexagons in and some bits of fabric that are just waiting there to be turned into base units for this. So if ever I've got a bit of fabric, I'll take that's the right kind of colourway for this. I think, oh, go on, I'll put that in my box. Here's the 1.5 inch die now. And I've just got this lovely, found this morning to do this demonstration with. Isn't that lovely? I wonder who this is. It's really beautiful fabric, this one. Anyway, there's 4 thicknesses there. It could probably do more, but why stress it? 4's fine. So I'm going to make sure by pressing with my finger there that I can feel. Oh, it's well big enough this. There's going to be a bit of waste here, which is a shame. Don't like waste. Okay, we're going to have some though. Then the other piece on top of there, like so. And then it just rolls through. Don't forget the perspex top and bottom. Through it goes. And then I've got fabric exactly the right size to make my template. Now, so this morning when I was listening to Jenny and she was being snooty about stitching them on, it's the way I learned, it's the way my mum taught me how to do it. And so, and isn't that the thing that we always stick with, the way that we were taught? So now I've got a lovely big pile of these, this colourway now, which will fit in here beautifully. Oops. And when I feel like it, I've got a bit of television time, I'll stitch those together. So during this time when I've been sort of pottering, I have made some packs of hexagons for you. They're going to be in the shop. Here they are, look. There's a pack of 100 inch hexagons that I've cut here and packed up. I haven't finished them yet. And then I did an extra one where I stitched on a piece of fabric, so that if you're in any doubt at all about how I do that, there's one little fabric stitched one there. Of course, if you want to glue them, do that. There is another method that I've never tried. Excuse me. This method then, it involves folding over the piece like so. And then you put a little stitch in there, not going through the paper. And then you do the next one, little stitch in that corner there, so that when all of them are stitched down like that and you finish sewing the piece together, you can just slip these out and there's no damage to the paper, so you can use that again and again and again. So that method then I think works quite well. It's not one that I've ever used, but it might be worth having a look at. Just put a stitch, a holding stitch in the corner as you're holding the paper template in there. Then stitch the whole thing together, then slip the papers out. When I get to the end of this quilt, when I deem it's big enough to put the border on and finish, I'll take all the paper pieces out. And that's, I think I quite enjoy doing that. That's not a problem for me. I don't mind that at all. So I'll tell you about this quilt, and it's not a quilt, it's a hanging, of course. And this is one that I made a number of years ago. And as I say, it was in the Festival of Quilts exhibition. There's really nice hanging there. And so I stood some way away watching people look at it and walk past and have a look at it, and people were looking closely at how I'd done various things. It was nice. It's the British Isles, obviously, and my mum was still alive when I was making this, and she was very scathing about it. Why is the sea pink? She said. She thought everything should be representational and should be a blue sea or whatever, but it was pink because I wanted to make it pink. Sorry, Mum. Now, I'll show you where I live. I live there. That's the hexagon I live in. Maybe that one. I live on the border of those two. Yeah, I live there. Right in the north of England. So this one came about. These are inch hexagons as well, all made out of Liberty fabric. And I think I've shown the channel this quilt before. So this came about because for no good reason I can think of, I started stitching together pink Liberty hexagons. And I have this box full of, there's a few blue ones there, I see. I started just filling this box with hexagons, stitched hexagon units, all made out of Liberty. And I thought, I've got to do something with these. This box was overflowing. I must do something with these, I thought to myself. So I started pinning them up, thinking, I wonder, you know, what I'm going to make and what configuration. It was not thought through at all. And I remember pinning a number of them up and stepping back and thinking, that looks like Cornwall. That little run of hexagons looks like Cornwall. So I thought, what would happen if I carried on? Now, of course, the hexagon unit is quite big to be subtle. So the coast of England is definitely not a straight line like that. I had a problem with that. And there's bits of Ireland, you know, Ireland's not got a straight line along the bottom. So it's representational. But what I loved about this was I would pin it all up on the board here. And John would come and he had the box. It was like a painting by numbers. And he would say, just fiddle with this bit here, Mum. And he pretty much designed it. He's great at maps and things. And I would say, no, we have to move that one. And he said, well, if you move that, we have to. It was great. It was a real collaboration. It's got a lovely Liberty backing as well. So it took me the whole of one summer to make. I remember sitting outside in the garden with this box, and the way that I did it was I would have a piece like this. This is just another little piece for something else. And I would number the backs of the squares. So row number 1, A, B, C, D, row number 2, so that I could take small bits of it off the board and stitch them together in the correct order. So English paper piecing then. While I've been not here, I've been working on those bits of quilts, and making these anytime I felt like using the Sizzix machine, and I had some paper making those. But I've also made the shop product, and I'm going to make a separate video about that so that you can see what I've made, and that'll be for sale coming up in the shop soon. But for now, I just wanted to talk about how I do English paper piecing. At the moment, this is the thing that's exciting me more than anything. I'm absolutely loving how that's coming together. So I think I remember doing a video about my mum's quilt. I'll try and find that video and leave a link to that as well up here in an iCard, because Mum made the very traditional English flower garden, you know, with the rosette of hexagons with the white border. And I have a quilt of hers like that upstairs. So I'll try and remember to put that link up as well, so that you can go to the playlist and see all the different English paper piecing that I've done. It's lovely to do. I really, really enjoy it. It's got a real sort of grounding calmness to it. It's very meditative. You know, your needle's going through 2 pieces of fabric like this, and there's really nothing that you need to think about at all, except have you got your edges straight. I'm going to do another video in a couple of days then. I'm not going to talk about that now because this one's quite long, and I'll tell you about what I've been making that's going to go live in the shop soon, which I hope you'll like. But then I'll put these little things in as well. Oh, and spoiler alert, I got some more soap from Kerry. She's made one last batch of Eileen's soap. So I'll talk about that in the next video as well. Okay, guys, so I'll edit this now and I'll post this now. And oh, just before I go though, I'll tell you about my endeavours in the tidying up that I need to do. I really need to reduce the amount of stuff I own. As you know, I talked about that. And to that end, I started making a video. In fact, I've made a video, but then I got ill. So that one will have to come another time. But I've made a start, and it's definitely something I want to concentrate on and do more of. I will. Okay, guys, so I'm tired now. So I'm going to go and edit all of this and then have a lie down. Whatever you're doing, I hope you're well. And if you're not, then if you're resting and taking care of yourselves and eating well and just, you know, doing all the things that we need to do. When your body tells you, I'm not 100% today, Kate, you've got to not push through that. You've got to listen to it and say, right, have a bit of a lie down. That's enough of that. So if you're still watching, thank you. I never say this, but subscribe. The subscriber numbers are lovely, and it's really nice to have you along here. So if there's something here that's interested you, then, you know, just hit the like and give us a subscribe and a share and a comment, and that would be lovely. Right, guys, I will catch up with you very soon, actually, because I'm going to make this video about the shop product next. Tomorrow, maybe. Take care. I'll see you soon. I'm just setting off to get my hair cut. She asked if I would wash it myself before I came in, so that would be one less thing, one less contact. And I'm finally going to get all this hair cut. Amazing. Let's go. Oh, that's what I call a haircut. There was a lot of it on the floor, I can tell you.